This one is called Two Angels Lost. My cousin David Angel and his wife Lynn were the first victims identified on 9/11. Tom Brokaw, with unearned solemnity intoned, "We have learned the name of one of our victims, and he is one of us." David Angel, creator of the NBC show Frasier. Our family had been with David and Lynn at a function on September 8th. 12 years later, I still irrationally resent Brokaw's claim of familiarity. But then, 9/11 was a completely irrational day. This past June, I began reading sections of the Quran. Why? Because even after a dozen years, I still have trouble speaking of that day. I still rarely speak of my cousin, although I think of him daily. Most importantly, I need to read the Quran to try and not live the rest of my life with a deep prejudice against an entire group of people. I've sought to meld ideas found in the Quran with aspects of the remarkable lives of David and Lynn, who were devout Catholics. Humility. The Quran says, quote, "Successful indeed are the believers, those who humble themselves in their prayer," end quote. David and I were close, born 7 months apart. He grew up in East Providence while I was raised in Pawtucket. At Christmas gatherings, his father would sing humorous nonsense songs while strumming an old ukulele. David's Hollywood success as head writer on Cheers and co-creator of Wings and Frasier came out only after 5 years of struggle and perseverance. Lynn supported his efforts by working as a librarian. By the mid-1990s, I had only seen them periodically. Busy lives and 3,000 miles of separation will do that. One day, I bumped into them at a restaurant in Chatham on Cape Cod. After a fun-filled catch-up lunch, they invited me to see the old captain's home they had just remodeled. Lynn, in addition to being the epitome of Southern grace and charm, was also a very talented amateur decorator. Their new home reflected her refined yet casual style. As the tour ended, it struck me that nowhere in the house was there a hint of my cousin's exciting career. I noticed the door in the kitchen and asked if it led to the garage. David hesitantly replied, "Yes, and I have a little office above. Would you like to see it?" As we walked up the stairs, there were the first glimpses of David and Lynn's journey. Framed, autographed photographs of the cast from Cheers, Wings, and Frasier adorned the walls surrounding the narrow staircase. More significantly, a 3-tiered bookcase came into view as we ascended the final stairs. On the bottom shelf were various books. The middle shelf contained 3 of David's Emmy Awards. He would win 8. And there, on the top shelf, was displayed his father's old ukulele. In that moment, I knew there was no chance of David ever going to Hollywood. About charity, the Quran says, "And be steadfast in prayer and regular charity." In 2000, I was the director of marketing for Clark Distribution, which was having a charity golf tournament for a young Providence College graduate paralyzed in a body surfing accident. Searching for items to auction, I called my cousin's office in Los Angeles to see if they could donate some Frasier memorabilia. My cousin called me back, and upon hearing the young man was a fellow PC graduate, upped the ante by offering for the auction a cameo appearance on the show. He mentioned that he would be in Massachusetts on the day of the tournament and said he'd love to play if we had the room. We made room. Coincidentally, another auction was a full-day treatment at a world-famous spa that was located in California, as was the filming of Frasier. A potential bidder for the spa item asked if transportation was included. When the answer was no, the bidding ground to a halt. Observing this, David leaned over to me and whispered, "Tell the auctioneer to include 2 round-trip tickets to the Frasier package." Needless to say, with this addition, the Frasier cameo became the most hotly contested item of the day, with the owner of my company, Tom Clark, and another guest waging a friendly bidding war. Once again, my husband whispered to me, if they'll match bids, let's make it 2 cameos and 4 round-trip tickets. So David had taken my humble request for some Fraser autographed photos, coffee mugs, and t-shirts, and had quietly turned it into a spectacular contribution to our efforts. In 1966, David and Lynn established the Angel Foundation, which continues to this day to support education and arts for youngsters in Southern California and New England. The Angel Blackfriars Theater at Providence College was a gift from the foundation. So 2 concepts from the Quran, humility and charity. David and Lynn embodied these virtues. Of course, these 2 words are on the bright side of the Quran coin. Other teachings, such as calls for jihad, with violence implied for those who, quote, make mischief in the land, end quote, can be and have been perverted by radicals to perform unspeakable acts. Religion is like a tool, like a claw hammer. One end joins together and builds, the other pulls apart and destroys. David and Lynn knew which end of the hammer to use.